Hi everyone, it's Alex Sparks here from Sparks Finance and I'm your local mortgage broker in Bathurst. Today's video is what is LVR and why is it important? Now LVR is a very common term you'll find in both finance and mortgage industry, but it's really important to understand what it is and what role it plays. So LVR is what we call loan to value ratio. The amount of your loan divided by the value of your property gives you this number and percentage. For example, if you had a $400,000 loan and the property was worth $500,000, your LVR would therefore be 80%, okay? Now the reason why this is such an important figure is because it generally dictates what interest rate you will have with the lender. So generally speaking, the higher the LVR, the higher the interest rate that you're going to get. The lower the LVR, the lower the interest rate you're going to get. So it's really important to make sure you understand, what LVR that you're on and to make sure that you're getting the best rate for you. Now the reason why banks do this is basically it shows your equity position within your home. So for example, if you had an 80% LVR, it shows that you have roughly a 20% equity within the property. So the higher the risk, the higher the LVR means banks will see that as a higher risk because you don't have as much equity in the property and they're taking more of that risk. Whereas if it's a lower, obviously you've got a lot more equity in the property and therefore a lower risk for you for the bank. So it's really important to understand this, and it will change based on the value of your property and obviously you paying the loan down and all that kind of stuff. So one of the main reasons why LVR is so important is especially for first home buyers or people that have not a great deal of equity within a property. Now the reason for this is lender's mortgage insurance, LMI, as some people will know it. If your LVR is above 80%, generally speaking, you'll have to pay lender's mortgage insurance, which is a fee anywhere from $1 all the way up to tens of thousands of dollars, depending on the property and the loan. So when we sort of have a look at this, it's really important to make sure that we can maximize that and make sure that you're paying as little as physically possible. But this is basically based on your LVR. So that's why people say, oh, you need 20% deposit to get in. It's like, well, you don't really need a 20% deposit, but what they're talking about is LVR and looking at the amount of equity that you have in that property. Finding out what LMI is one of the major reasons why we need to understand what your LVR or loan to value ratio is. The other thing to keep in mind, the ongoing value of your property. So for example, you may have bought your property got a loan of $450,000 and you bought the property for $500,000. Therefore, you'll have an LVR of 90%. Now later on down the track, you might have paid little, like let's just say the loan remains the same at $450,000, but the property value goes up to $650,000. So therefore, your LVR has then decreased to 69% because you've now got more equity than the property because the price has gone up. Now why this is really important is once again because it dictates your interest rate. So if you go from an LVR of 90% down to an LVR of 69%, that's a really good tool to send to the bank to try to renegotiate your rate or potentially find another lender that provides you a lot better rate for your certain circumstances, because obviously there's less risk for the bank in taking that because you have more equity than the property. It's not overly complicated, but it's something to really keep in mind that the higher the property price goes, for example, the more equity you have in your property, you might be in a lot better position to renegotiate with your current lender or possibly go to another bank and get a different suite of interest rates and obviously hopefully find one a lot cheaper for you so you can reduce that interest paid and pay your loan off sooner. But look guys, if you have any questions around this or you think you started with a small deposit a couple of years ago and you know your property price has gone up, have a chat with us and we can have a look and see where your LVR sits and see whether we can get you a lower rate. Thanks very much for your time everyone. I look forward to our next video. Thank you.